Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow? Is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that they're whitewashing?
Greg Gutfeld takes down Jasmine Crockett in a vicious manner. Political observers are left in a state of startled amazement by how wonderfully nasty it is. He exposes her outrageous theatrics, breaks down her talking points, and transforms her congressional antics into late-night comic gold with razor-sharp wit and surgical sarcasm. It's more than simply a roast. It's a genius lesson in destroying illusion. You won't believe how ridiculous political turmoil can get until you see how Gutfeld transforms Crockett's best-known songs into unexpected jokes.
First they cursed, now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. This dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties with him.
When Greg Gutfeld knows he's going to verbally juggle someone straight into orbit, he smiles with that famous smirk. And he didn't have a famous person or a corrupt official as his target tonight. No, on this occasion, his humorous target was Jasmine Crockett, the loudest microphone in Congress and perhaps the only individual capable of making a press conference sound like a half-hour interpretive dance by a car alarm.
Or literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that they're whitewashing.
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage. So, Dana, Governor Hot Wheels, she claims that had nothing to do with the fact that he actually moves by wheels in a wheelchair, and he's good looking.
He did not hit the ground running. No, Gutfeld liked the gradual burn better. He let the tension rise like a Jenga tower constructed entirely of social media fails and press clippings. Jasmine Crockett doesn't bring facts. When she walks into a room, her energies are contagious. And not even the best ones, the kind of vibrations that, before she's even finished speaking, make you automatically look for fire escapes and roll your eyes.
So much for Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go high. Crockett went as low as humanly possible by mocking Governor Greg Abbott for being paralyzed.
We in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot...
Leaning into the camera, Greg seemed to be explaining the plot of a poor science fiction movie in which the aliens don't take over the world. All they do is convene hearings in Congress and pronounce the Constitution incorrectly. First, he went over her resume, if you can call it that. Not the title or degree component, no, the best hits. The videos went viral, showing how she transformed a 5-minute question into a 20-minute performance art piece about nothing.
You know, Richard, I don't know about you, but I want to see way more of Jasmine Crockett. I want to see her everywhere. I think she is the perfect face of the modern Democrat Party. What say you?
I do think that there are a lot of Democrats that really like Jasmine Crockett. But let's be very clear here, and let's acknowledge that the name calling is on both sides of the aisle. Everybody does it. It gins up the base. I mean, I think we can go through Donald Trump's greatest hits of name calling, and we can go blow for blow. And I
can't
think
find one about a guy in a wheelchair. Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine,
is similar to witnessing someone attempt to microwave a steak and be surprised when it comes out rubbery. You can almost hear the soundtrack from a sitcom crash into the background every time she opens her mouth. Gutfeld said, "She's funny, but only because the laugh track is attempting to save the scene."
Streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Whoa.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So,
Now, she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yeah, she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2020.
Jasmine Crockett's ability to transform any policy discussion into a spoken word jazz improvisation about oppression, hair texture, and the subjectivity of facts is one of her special talents. She needs a stage, a fog machine, possibly a backup dancer, and an audience member to remind her of the real subject. She needs more than simply a platform. The irony struck Greg when he noticed that a lady was trying to be serious, but every appearance felt like it was turning C-SPAN into TMZ. If you listen carefully to history textbooks, they may cry. Greg was interested in analyzing the brand she is creating, which combines just enough fury and hair-flipping to fool journalists into thinking she is intelligent, rather than just making fun of her rhetorical errors, from staging incidents too. Accusing everyone of racism for simply blinking, Jasmine became the quintessential performative politician. Greg emphasized her ability to divert hearings with verbal gymnastics centered on relevancy, logic, and accuracy. She would win a gold medal if Delusion had Olympic judges. She handles information like a laser pointer to a cat.
They are so lost, and they just have no idea how to come back. They're cursing, they're fighting, they're burning. They're lost. I said it months ago. The party is over. They've got to come up with something new. And this woman chasing a guy that's New York City. That's a subway. In New York City, you can wear a mask.
She chases after them, but she never manages to catch them, so she blames the furniture. The fact that she was well-liked in some areas did not surprise Greg. After all, the whole industry is based on transforming incompetence into charm. Crockett is comparable to a Twitter thread winning a political election. Every syllable she says seems like it was composed by a group of interns who are trying to figure out how long they can dodge the subject with the intellectual depth of a kiddie pool following a drought. Everything is booming. Greg pictured her practicing presentations by stepping into a mirror and shouting inspirational words until Siri pleaded for forgiveness, as that's the type of energy she delivers. Minimal substance, maximum volume. Although every phrase sounds like the conclusion of a superhero film, she is only criticizing laws that she has obviously never read. He was astounded by her capacity to introduce identity politics into almost any topic.
Racist! Tyrus, I go to you for no apparent reason. Do you have an opinion on this? Or should I move on to somebody?
No, I just... It has to come from me.
Yes.
Okay.
Her discussion on ancestral trauma and how concrete is a tool of systemic oppression could interrupt your conversation about highway infrastructure. She would blame colonialism if she discovered that her Wi-Fi was slow. Her lectures were outrageous, but that wasn't the only thing Greg found fascinating. It was the number of people who nodded in agreement, as if she were imparting wisdom rather than making a mistake. In order to prevent conflict, everyone agreed to act as though she made sense, which is similar to mass hypnosis. He likened it to dinner parties where someone declares they believe in the flat earth theory, and instead of refuting them, everyone silently distributes the mashed potatoes. Greg noted that Jasmine Crockett is a fiery filibuster rather than a debater. Her ability to express so much while saying so little is so perfect that it's like seeing someone juggle smoke. After being initially impressed, you realize nothing is occurring.
It's enough to find a plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason. Is she making any point there?
And when she's called out, oh, the dramatics, the gasp, the inflated offense, the constant use of catchphrases that are meant to end rather than to win disputes, according to Gutfeld. Debating with Jasmine Crockett is like trying to play chess with a pigeon. She declares victory after toppling every piece and urinating on the board. The way she presented herself as a truth teller, a champion for justice, and the new voice Of the people, however, was what made Greg giggle. Every issue is a costume, every appearance is a performance, and every camera is a mirror. The deluxe edition is for Crockett, who referred to it as congressional cosplay. He made a joke on how Clippy would appear when you opened her Talks-In Microsoft Word and said, "It appears that you're attempting to make a point. Would you like assistance?" She would also scold Clippy for his patriarchal behavior and insist that he examine his privilege.
Not just for one thing, I'm mad at Charmaine the Guy because he should have kicked her out. See, the problem is that we are allowing our own culture to be openly racist and get away with it. Now, if a white person is offended by that, and they should be, they say something, it's like, it's not the same thing. But if you say that, and another brother looks at you and goes, "Man, you wrong."
Greg shook his head incredulously. Instead of a staff, Jasmine needs a translator not for foreign policy, but for English in general. Every coherent sentence, she makes turns into a machete-wielding word salad. Her metaphors are so off-topic that they need to be mapped out using Google Maps. She presents these perverted riddles with a straight face, though. It's a dance of political interpretation, not just spin. Imagine her standing before a burning structure, claiming it is pouring, and then labeling the fire truck as troublesome. Gutfeld finished thinking about what would happen to Jasmine Crockett. The book How I Yelled My Way Through Congress, a podcast discussing her reflection in the mirror, or a TED address in which she misidentifies the microphone for a gavel. He kept it open, though, since Jasmine Crockett is by no means done. She is a one-woman show who interprets every policy as an assault on her person and every argument as oppression. Greg Gutfeld maintains his sneer, knowing that his content will always be fresh as long as she speaks. He reclines, relishing the idea of her next viral moment.
They call Musk a Nazi, and next thing you know, you got swastikas on cars. They called Trump Hitler and a Nazi and a fascist, and he got shot. So I don't really ever see that happening on the Republican side when we make fun of Democrats. It's also about the supporters. It's not just the leaders. It seems like Democrats are easily programmed to do bad things.
Yes, they are. They're very easily programmed, Greg.
I made you say that.
I don't really care what she says. You know, if she wants to make a joke about Hot Wheels, it just makes her look bad.
She might mistake Nando's chicken for NATO. Perhaps she will claim that an electrical outage is sexist. Who can tell? Reality only exists in Jasmine Crockett's mind. As the titles rolled and the music began to play, Gutfeld grinned like a man who had just witnessed a 5-car crash composed entirely of clown cars for when politics turns into a talent show. Jasmine Crockett is the competitor who introduced jazz hands to a math session and in some way continued to demand victory. Greg didn't even have to look very closely now. His monologue was essentially being written for him by Jasmine. Her most recent news conference was the icing on the cake. A verbal demolition derby in which each sentence slammed into the one before it. She accused the Constitution of gaslighting her, misnamed 3 agencies, and managed to sabotage a policy summary. Like a highlight reel from sports, Greg played it again. In between mistakes, he pauses like a proud coach watching game tape of a squad that lost its dribbling skills.
His ass off, because you're not going to talk about somebody that I care about like that, or another person like that.
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
His sight astounded Greg Gutfeld. Jasmine Crockett didn't simply show there with false information. She boldly and almost militantly marched in. It captivated him. With her conviction akin to children saying the moon was made of cheese, she wielded bewilderment like a campaign tactic. When Greg called her style loud, wrong, and proud, the ovation sounded like a joke. It was made even more strange by a few clapping seals in the back who were certain they had seen genius. as she waited for permission while completing a cognitive jigsaw puzzle. Jasmine dropped buzzword grenades. It seemed like someone throwing word magnets onto a refrigerator and calling it legislation while watching her debate. There were words there, but no friends. The kicker, she never backed down. She remained resolute, a statue sculpted from denial, enjoying her own incoherence and defying any challenge. Whether it was asserting that Alaska bordered Portugal or making other gaffes, it was a sight like no other to Greg.